When somebody said or suggested to me, why don't you offer a creative retreat about that? I sort of thought, why don't I offer a creative retreat about that? And what I'm talking about is grief and loss. I work with many people. I've experienced myself. How many of us at this stage in our lives have experienced grief and loss? And, you know, while we talk about it, and talk therapy is really good, and even just talking with people, Dr. Niemeyer would call it narrative therapy and meaning making. And it's basically where you talk and talk and talk until you finally find some sort of meaning, not to the death. I don't think there's ever meaning in that, but to the loss that you're suffering. And what I'm offering here is one-day creative retreats. I have many years experience in giving creative retreats before. And as you know, I'm an energy therapist, a coach, a tapping coach, a kinesiologist. And I suppose I'm combining all of that. And I'm offering two different types of one-day retreats. One is where you get creative through the use of colour. And as you can see, that would be through paints, and pastels and pencils, whatever else is in the box here. And it's just offering you a process, a guided day, reflective day, where you don't fix your grief. I don't think grief can be fixed. But perhaps you find meaning, a little bit more meaning, as you journey through the sad grief or loss that you experience. And then there's another day that I'm offering, and that's a one-day creative retreat using stained glass. And as you can see here, there are lots of stained glass pieces on my table. Most people tend to want to make hearts or angels or crosses. And you make one piece in a day, a guided retreat day, a creative day. And part of the process will be to choose your template, to choose the shape you want to put on your grief, and then to choose the colours. There's lots of coloured glass. Absolutely, bits and pieces and big sheets of glass as well. And I have the tools and everything else. And I will guide you through the process of making that piece. And of course, during that time, there's going to be lots of little informal conversations and maybe even silences for you to just be with yourself, with your grief, and with a few other people here who are on a similar journey. And just not to fix it. I don't think there is a fixing of it. But to be with it and to be creative with it, because creativity is our way of allowing our soul to express its meaning. And sometimes through the creativity, we might get a little bit of hope. We might get a little bit of help. We might even feel like we can do this. We can do this, and we're not alone. And it's a safe environment. Just as I said, a couple of people who you may not know, or you may choose to come here with a couple of people that you do know. But the key thing is that it's a very small, safe, sacred space, the back of my garden, where I lead you through a day's reflective sort of journeying of you being creative with your stress, not just your stress, with your grief and your loss, which is what the stress is all about. It's all added in there together. And gradually helping you to create something that you can take away, that it will either remind you of the person or the law, or just give you hope or colour. Or, I mean, these stained glass pieces, they're lying flat there and you can see the colours. But when you put them up, then you bring them home and you put them up in your window and you see the light shine through them. There's something about that. It speaks way deeper than words ever can. It really does. So the first step is for you to book your place on this live program. I'm based in Dublin 15 in Ireland. So that might be a factor in you attending. Or we can also do one-to-one sessions where I can guide you through some colour work on your side and do some tapping and some other work that I do, energy work, to help you be with your grief, to help you process your grief a little bit more. It's not therapy, but it probably will be therapeutic. Creativity probably is the most therapeutic thing we can do, because it takes us beyond words, takes us into our soul space, allows our soul expression. And sometimes in there, that's where we tend to find just a little bit of meaning, a little bit of hope, or just a little bit of, I can keep going here. I can keep going here. So book your place, just book the product, and then I'll be in touch with you to find the right date for you and to find the best date that suits you, because there's only 2 or 3 people, 4 max, on these days, and mostly it'll be 3. And so they book up very fast. So book your place, and I'll see you on the other side. And we'll get creative and help you to find a little bit more meaning, just even to find support, and maybe even to delve deeply into your soul space and see what wisdom you have in there, because it's the stress of grief that prevents us from doing that. And so by being creative and doing a little bit of tapping and calming that stress down as we're here in this nice space, we allow our soul to speak, and we allow ourselves maybe to learn something new about ourselves, and realize maybe we are coping, we're doing okay, and we have the strength to go on. Take care, and please share this with your friends.